Hi, so I'm Reverend Shawna Foster, a minister of a church here in Carbondale, Colorado called Two Rivers Unitarian Universalist. We're a very small congregation. We have about 80 members right now. And when I was first hired to come here, one of the goals of the congregation was to be more connected with the Latino community because there's about 30 to 40% of Latino members here in the community, and 60% of our public schools are Latino children going to school. So we were looking into a lot of different things. Youth group programs, sanctuary was one of those things, other ways that we could help maybe with translations and headsets. And so in those conversations, we did talk about sanctuary, and what happened is that one of the people from the Latino community, because there's several Latino empowerment groups here, came to us and said, I actually need sanctuary. This woman was a well-known, well-respected person in our community whose children went to the high school here. And so when our congregation heard that she needed sanctuary, our board came together and had to make a quick decision. We had been talking about it for a few months. We had looked into what our insurance would be able to cover us or not, how much it would cost, and what the risks were by getting some legal advice. And we decided to go ahead and offer this woman sanctuary. This was in March of 2017. However, a week later, she got her stay of deportation, so she didn't need to take sanctuary after all. For our congregation to be able to commit to this action, we had to really look at our principles of how we are committed to something larger than ourselves. Oftentimes, congregations get very insular. They are prioritized on thinking about what can the congregation do for me? What can I get out of by spending our time on this? And to be committed to offering sanctuary, it meant that we had to be committed to something that was larger than us, and we would not be the main beneficiaries of taking the action. It meant using our position as a religious institution in society to be able to go into the public square and make something that would benefit the larger society as a whole. And so we really had to be committed to this idea that our congregation is a part of society and should be a springboard for societal transformation. That is what is in our mission statement. What we have learned from this commitment is that when we commit to the community responds. Most of the people, because we are so small, most of the people who are involved with this sanctuary effort are not from our congregation. Most of them are from the community. We have someone who is coordinating it, and we have people from our congregation who are showing up from time to time, but we have a sanctuary coalition that was never developed and is brand new here, that a Jewish congregation is a part of, a Methodist congregation is a part of, many Episcopal congregations are a part of, and a Catholic institution is a part of it as well, who are supporting this sanctuary movement. And there's a lot of people who are just part of the community who don't belong to any institution, but are coming by to give our person in sanctuary English lessons, yoga instruction, take her daughter out on play dates, because it's really bringing the whole community together no matter what institution they belong to. Our plans for future acts of solidarity is to follow the lead of the Latino community. They are the ones who are the most affected by what is happening. Now, we have our principles and our values, and so we know what we are going to do. But really, as people with citizenship privilege, we need to listen to the people who are undocumented. And we have responded to requests such as we're going to go to the legislature to talk to our governor about pardoning people who need sanctuary so that they can stay here. We have hosted dreamers who have come and spoken to our congregation and needed a community platform. We've offered our space so that they could do that. And continue with the youth empowerment programs. We got a grant to do that. All of these have come at the request of the Latino community, and they didn't need to be members of our congregation to fulfill these requests because, again, we believe ourselves to be a springboard for societal transformation. And so we listen to what the community wants us to do and really are in a position of service. And we have to really listen and check our own assumptions and our own training to be able to do that. I really feel like that religious institutions are taking a very key point in struggles like this in the future. This was something we looked at that we could uniquely offer. Where we are, there's a lot of spiritual institutions that offer some sort of individualized spiritual journey where they can help you with meditation classes. There's a place here that built a kiva where you can have a sweat for a few days. There's all kinds of gurus coming. Believe me, it is saturated around here, this personal, spiritual self-transformation. There are very few religious institutions that are talking about societal transformation, about what our values mean in the larger public square. What, as Cornel West says, justice is what love looks like in public. And so that's what we are trying to do and we are trying to fulfill. And particularly here in Colorado, no state funds and definitely no federal funds can be used to help undocumented people. So that is a huge service gap in our community that only we as a religious institution can fill. I mean, some nonprofits can fill it, but a lot of them get their money from county funding, from state funding, from federal funding, and so they are afraid to be able to offer undocumented people help. And a lot of times it's just a don't ask, don't tell. So we are an institution that is proudly helping undocumented people because it is not the fault of undocumented people for a broken immigration system. The community reaction has been strong, and at first there was a lot of people who were angry that we were supporting people who were, quote, taking their jobs. But I said to them, who designed this broken immigration system? Was it the immigrants? Are people who are in sanctuary really the ones who are designing a system like this? It is the people in power that need to remember a moral and ethical vision of what it means to live in this country. And that is what we uniquely as a religious institution can provide. A check against the people in power for the people who are being pushed out of those power structures. And so we hope that people will continue to hear this message of sanctuary as something that doesn't divide the community, but something that is uniting the majority of the community and gives them something very tangible to do. Sanctuary, at the most, has been a public relations campaign because it is just one person. But you get to learn deeply about this one person and think there are thousands of people who live right here in this county that are just like this person and deserve comprehensive immigration reform. And moreover, they need to see values of justice, fairness, due process, and compassion for one another. And so we hope that Sanctuary keeps on uniting this community against division and allows the voice of people who have been marginalized and pushed out of the power structures to be heard by those in power so that there can be a change for the better.